Hello everybody, this is Pazixel and welcome to my top 4 underrated games that I own. These games are all Nintendo GameCube games or PlayStation 3 games, so they're kind of old at this point, so they're not top dollar anymore. But the price does not take away from how amazing these games actually are. Without further ado, I think it's time to get started with number 4. Number 4. To kick off this list at number 4, I give you Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem for the Nintendo GameCube. This game is like a hybrid between the original Dead Space and the original Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil, this game is mostly based in psychological horror as opposed to Dead Space's gruesome, gory, bloody dismemberment, that kind of horror. However, there are zombies and there is fighting and there is blood. I consider this to be mostly psychological. Not only because, graphics at this time period weren't top of the line, but the story is amazing, and the characters are amazing, and the game itself is amazing. This game has you play as many characters, but the main character is a woman named Alexandra Roivas, a heroine which, to me, is very reminiscent of Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil franchise. But if this game would have caught on as much as Resident Evil, you'd be seeing a lot more of her around. I can tell you that much. But I digress. That's not why people want to play this game. People want to play this game for the insanity. They want to play this game for the weird effects, the weird things it does to you and the game itself. Such as, every once in a while, if your sanity bar is too low, which is a bar right next to your health bar, it might start showing warnings that your controller's unplugged as it spawns monsters all around you and it kills you, or it shows you that the disc is scratched up and it can't be read, or there's even one that says that, oh, this is just a demo of the game. You have to buy the game. It has really funny, weird, screwed up sense of humor like that. And if you really want a game like that screws with you, you should really look into getting Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem for the Nintendo GameCube. And now, on to number 3. Number 3. The next game on this list is actually 2 games, but because it follows the same character and it's the same storyline and it's basically the same thing, I'm going to count them as 1 game in this list. And that, of course, is Infamous for PlayStation 3. Well, like I said, it's actually Infamous 1 and Infamous 2. Don't play 3 or 4. They're just not as good. They destroyed the franchise. But these 2 games are marvelous. You play as a reluctant superhero that gets his powers through very strange means named Cole McGrath. A man whose superpowers awaken one day and must decide whether he wants to use them for good or evil. And like any good video game, it lets you decide what path you want to take. Whether it's to help the civilians and help the city, or to destroy the civilians and take the city for yourself. It's completely up to you, and both games have a pretty awesome ending for each path. The Infamous games are really reminiscent of the original Spider-Man movie, where Peter Parker gets his powers, but then he must learn how to use them, and it's not like he immediately jumps in knowing exactly what he's doing. It takes him some time, and he has to understand even what sign he has to make the web. There's a whole lot of stuff that needs to happen before you're a superhero, and that's kind of the way that Infamous takes it as well, where Cole isn't immediately an amazing, well-known superhero. He has to start from the bottom and work his way up, which I think is really cool when games do that kind of framework to their characters instead of having some kind of time lapse where all of a sudden they're well-known and all of a sudden they know how to master their powers. It's a very cool way to set the game up. And on to number 2. Number 2. The next game on this list is a very tricky one to talk about because a lot of people hate the game, a lot of people love the game, and a lot of people love to hate the game. It's a very tricky game. And that, of course, is the infamous, but no, not infamous, Skate 3. Yes, the game has a lot of bugs. Yes, the game has a lot of glitches. But it's the kind of game that me and my brother actually got this for the bugs and for the glitches, just to screw around with it. It's actually a pretty good game. I think most of the time people say this game sucks is just because they've heard somebody else say this game sucked. But it doesn't really at all. It's actually a pretty good game that's very underrated for what it is. And there isn't a Skate 4 yet. So Skate 3 is the newest Skate game, and obviously, like I said, you either love it or you hate it. So there's a pretty good chance there will never be a Skate 4. But I think this is actually a gem that you shouldn't really overlook, especially if you can get it for cheap. You should just get it, see what it is, screw around with it, and see what you can make. Because, come on, why wouldn't you want to screw around on a skateboard when it's glitchy? And you know it's glitchy. It's not like you're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and it just makes you fall every 10 seconds. That's different. That's glitchy, but that's not really a fun glitchy, where there are some glitches in it, but I haven't really had anything like that. I've always had things like you move through some stuff, or tricks finish when they really shouldn't have let you finish, and things around that nature that actually increase the enjoyment from the game as opposed to decrease it. So, that's Skate 3. And on to number 1. Number 1. The last game in this amazing 4-game set is none other than Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Or actually, it's the original Paper Mario and Paper Mario 2, which is the Thousand Year Door. Much like Infamous, after the second game, completely downhill, and it sucks because this game is one of the best games I've ever played. It's a turn-based RPG style fighter, and I never would think that two pieces of paper hitting each other would ever be so cool, but it really is an amazing storyline, an amazing game, amazing characters. Everything about the first two Paper Mario games are just amazing. I was going to go and try to find some cool papers and some cool pictures to put on this video for this game, but then I realized that I don't need to, because this box is the game. As weird as that sounds, this is what you get. It's a massive game, massive areas to explore, a crap ton of characters, and there's still parts in the game that after, I've had this for 10, 11 years, I still haven't beat parts of it, because it's such a long process to beat. If you want a little bit more information on the part that I can't beat, just because there has to be a YouTube video of it somewhere, look up Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, the Pit of 100 Trails, which is a part of the game that I could never manage beating. It's just, oh my god, it pisses me off how many times I've tried that. Got so close to the end and died. It's so many nights wasted trying to beat that on this game. Anyway, this game is number 1 for a reason. This game is wonderful. Along with the first Paper Mario, this game is amazing. Thank you all for watching. If you can get any of these games, especially for cheap, you should definitely get them and play them, because you will not regret that decision. Thank you all for watching. This is Pazixel. Stay tuned for my next vlog, my next list, my next game, whatever I decide to do next. Everybody keep on YouTube, and thanks for watching.